Okay, Math 10s. We're going to start up another unit here, working with relations and functions. The first section of this, I think, is fairly straightforward, but just a little bit different or weird. So let me kind of go through it with you and talk a little bit about some of the concepts in it. First of all, what's a relation? A relation is any pattern that exists or can connect objects or items together. And so it's a really, really general idea. Um, eh, they show a picture here, a family tree picture that represents relation. We've got dotted lines representing marriage. We have solid lines representing descendants. And so you can kind of look here and you could answer questions about like how is Joseph related to Simon? And if you take a look here, Simon and Marianne are married and they have descendants, Etienne and Mary Madeline, and Etienne is married to Elizabeth. They have children. So Joseph would actually be Simon's great grandson, um, or Simon is Joseph's great grandfather. So, you know, this is an example of a way to represent a relation. So there's lots of ways to represent a relation. I'm going to go through a few of them. Um, One of the ways to, first of all, represent relations is in an ordered pair. When we break things up into an ordered pair, we have two pieces, kind of like an x comma y idea. So if we consider fruits, an apple may have the color red. So we could say apple comma red is one set of ordered pair in the relations of uh, representing fruits and their color they could have. And we could continue on. Apple could be green, blueberry could be blue, a cherry could be red, a huckleberry could be blue, and so on. These are ordered pairs of relations. Um, we have the first one, which is called the independent value, and the second one, which is called the dependent value. We could also represent the exact same thing in a table where our first column represents our x or our independent values, and our second column represents our dependent or y values. So we have apple and red, apple green, blueberry blue, cherry red, huckleberry blue. Same idea, but just in a table format. We could also use an arrow diagram. An arrow diagram is represented with two ovals that represent the two sets that we have. We have our fruits and we have our colors. And the nice thing about the arrow diagram is you don't have to write as much because you can use arrows and show that apple could be green or red, for instance, and cherry could be red, and so on. So there's three different ways to represent relations. There's also ways to represent relations that are graphing methods. For example, uh, here we have a graph of different breeds of dogs that can be associated with mean or average heights. That's what the word mean represents right here. Mean means average heights. So looking at this, how could we represent it as a table? Well, Afghan Hound looks like their average height 75, Chihuahua average height of 20. And so again, your X is your first column and your Y is your second column, the independent and the dependent values here. And then as an arrow diagram, the same type of thing. There are a couple dogs that have the same height, the Golden Shepherd and the Golden Retriever and the German Shepherd. And you see that in here. They both have an arrow going to 60. So we can represent information or relation as a graph, as a table of value, as ordered pairs, and as arrow diagrams, different ways to represent relations. That's kind of what the first section of this unit's about.